What does it take to be the greatest of all time? Is it championships, records, dominance at all the levels? Or how about the ability to transform a league completely while conquering it? Today, A'ja Wilson is that exact player. Someone building the most complete GOAT resume in women's basketball history. A'ja's resume started in Hopkins, South Carolina. A star player at Heathwood High School, she made the varsity team as an 8th grader. At the time, playing the forward position, she would lead her team to runner-up in her junior year and then to a state championship in her senior year, already planting the seeds of building dynasties from the ground up. Her senior year, she averaged 35 points, 15 rebounds, and 5 blocks per game. Not only was she a parade and McDonald's All-American, but she was also picking up MVPs in international play, representing the USA in FIBA Under 18. In high school, she didn't just play basketball, she dominated it, and honestly could have went to any school in the country. It just so happened that South Carolina was starting to make noise at their program. The Gamecocks had just secured their first ever #1 NCAA tournament seed and had basketball legend Dawn Staley at the helm. They hadn't won an NCAA championship yet, but A'ja was familiar with the journey, and she brought that mentality to South Carolina. A natural left-hander, she was already comfortable on the block or the wing and capable of leading the fast break. As a freshman, she came in and made noise, breaking freshman records as well as earning SEC Freshman of the Year. The pressure was massive, but this is what A'ja stayed home for, and she delivered. By A'ja's junior year, the team was clicking on all cylinders. Paired with guards Alicia Gray and Ty Harris, South Carolina won their first national championship in program history. After upsetting not just UConn, but Mississippi State, she made history, and if nothing else, cemented her legacy right there in South Carolina. During the Final Four against Stanford, she had a career high of 19 rebounds. In the championship game, she had 23 points, 10 rebounds, and 4 blocks. A'ja is named the NCAA Tournament Most Outstanding Player, and she didn't just win it for herself, she changed the trajectory of that entire program. The Gamecocks and Dawn Staley, they just weren't the same after that. In her senior year, A'ja sweeps every major National Player of the Year award. She wins the Naismith, the Wade Trophy, the Wooden Award, and leaves South Carolina as the most decorated player in program history, just planting seeds along her GOAT road. She left South Carolina better than she found it. Under Dawn Staley, she didn't just develop her game, she learned how to lead. From a Hall of Famer, figuring out how to be the player everybody looks to when the game is on the line. So she already had experience carrying an entire state's championship dreams. A'ja learned how to handle that weight, how to deliver when failure isn't an option, and how to build a winning culture from the ground up. Lessons like those went into the leadership, mental toughness, and accountability we see today. The transition from college to the pros usually shows a lot of rookies' weaknesses and some fold under pressure, but not A'ja. Just like coming out of high school, she was the #1 prospect, and she was picked first overall by the Las Vegas Aces, the team that had just moved from being the San Antonio Silver Stars. And A'ja came into the league bending it to her will and not the other way around, earning Rookie of the Year as well as becoming an All-Star her first and second year in the league. In 2020, we did get the wobble season. The WNBA was playing in the pandemic bubble in Florida. While the conditions were a little weird, the pressure was still there. With the players deciding to play, it was business as usual for the teams that were going for the championship. And A'ja Wilson rose above everyone. She won her first MVP right there in the bubble at just 24 years old. And that was just the beginning, with the Aces figuring out how to build around her. A year before A'ja, the Silver Stars picked up Kelsey Plum #1 overall. And a year after A'ja, they picked up Jackie Young #1 overall. 2021 season would see the Aces sign Chelsea Gray in free agency. 2022 was one of A'ja's most dominant years, adding that 3-ball to her arsenal as well. The Aces were tearing through the league with a 22-10 record, tying the reigning champs, the Chicago Sky. A'ja would win her second MVP and her first Defensive Player of the Year award, leading the league in blocks that year. They ran through the playoffs, especially with the Sky being taken out by the Sun, who the Aces would end up meeting in the finals. And with all things locking into place for A'ja, she would win her first championship. Now, Chelsea Gray did get that finals MVP, well deserved, but a lot of the offense and a lot of the defense went through A'ja Wilson. And the first one was sweet, but they definitely wanted to do it again. 2023 would see the Aces continue their dominance like nothing happened. They finished the season with the best record in the league at 34-6, literally sweeping sweeping through the first 2 series. They met the Liberty in the finals and made short work of them too, only dropping 1 game. And A'ja would take home her first finals MVP trophy. The Aces were back-to-back champions, and she was constantly adding to her legacy. 2024 saw the Aces won a 3-peat, something that hadn't been done since the Comets. But something was off, and honestly looking back, it may have just been the locker room that was going on with that team. They ended up going out in the second round of the playoffs to the eventual champions, the New York Liberty. They definitely got their get back. But A'ja played that season on a mission, the first player to score 1,000 points in a season. She also became the first person to have at least 35 points, 10 rebounds, and 5 steals in a single game, as well as setting the single season scoring record, snatching it from Jewel Lloyd, averaging 26.9 points a game. 2025 pulled all her learning moments together as the Aces started out the season horribly. Trading away Kelsey Plum and adding Jewel Lloyd in the offseason, the team seemed to have some chemistry issues they just couldn't figure out. The front office kept tweaking with the roster, adding Alyssa Smith to give Wilson some help in the front court, but it only seemed to get worse as the Aces took a 53-point loss to the Minnesota Lynx. Looking at a horrible record and facing themselves in the mirror, something clicked in A'ja Wilson and her Aces. She pulled out every leadership trick she'd ever learned and led her team to 16 straight wins to end the season, jumping from maybe making the playoffs to a solid second place in the standings. 2 years after running through the league, the playoff run wasn't so easy, especially in the beginning. They almost lost in the first and second round, dropping a game to Seattle and having it come down to the buzzer on the Aces home court, and then playing with the Fever, taking it to a game 5 when the Fever were heavily depleted. But the Aces found a way, and A'ja was there leading the way, scoring multiple 30-point games and rallying her team when they let their foot off the gas. They would go on to sweep the Mercury, but Wilson had to mark that series too, hitting the game winner in game 3 on the Mercury's home court, silencing the crowd and adding one more dagger to her resume. She's only been in the league for 8 years, but she has 7 All-Star appearances. She's led the league in blocks 5 times. She has 4 MVPs, 3 championships, 2 finals MVPs, and a partridge in a pear tree. She's literally changing what we thought was possible in a single season. This is just generational dominance and talent on full display. But what's a GOAT conversation without a little bit of international success? And this is where she continues to be completely overwhelming. 2018 FIBA World Cup, gold medal. 2020 Tokyo Olympics, gold medal. 2024 Paris Olympics, gold medal. Undefeated on the world stage. A'ja just doesn't dominate in the WNBA, she dominates representing her country against the best players in the world. She's checked every single box. But what makes A'ja Wilson's GOAT case different from everybody else is stamped in her off-the-court presence as much as on. She's been vocal about pay equity, about respect for women's basketball, about building the league for the next generation. She's not just winning, she's opening doors. When you think about GOATs, you think about players who transcended their sport. Michael Jordan, Serena Williams. A'ja Wilson is doing that in real time. She's making women's basketball impossible to ignore. So why is A'ja Wilson the GOAT? Well, one thing that adds to her argument, because she's won at every level. High school dominance, college championship and player of the year, back-to-back WNBA titles, MVP, finals MVP, single season scoring record, 3 Olympic gold medals. I would take A'ja in an argument over Lisa Leslie, Cynthia Cooper, and even Maya Moore. She just has that tenacity and mentality, and she's not even done yet. In her prime, she's making this case. We're talking about someone who already has their own statue, her own signature shoe, and title runs where she was the main X factor. But more than that, she's done it by betting on herself, by staying home when she could have left, by building championships, and by using her platform to grow the game. The GOAT conversation in women's basketball is no longer about the past. It's including the right now. And that's A'ja Wilson, writing one of the best women's basketball stories we've ever seen. So what do you think? Is she already the GOAT, or does she need more rings? And if not, who's your GOAT?
Don't forget to like and subscribe, players.